I thought I'd do a shootout between some of those mini micro amp things that you see on the checkout desks at music shops. Up for consideration are these three. The Marshall MS2, very famous this one. The Fender Mini Tone Master, looks like a small stack. And the Honeytone clip-on mini amp. Now, it's not all about the sounds. There's other things to consider as well, and I'm going to cover everything that I think is relevant. But the first thing to do is unbox them. So the Marshall MS2 micro amp in black. These come in various colors. They are a real Marshall product, and we've got some specs on the back, which I'll be using later in the video. Let's open it up, see what's inside. We've got a little baggie with the amp, which does look really cool. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Marshall amps from the 90s and the JCM 800 and the 900. That is a cool looking micro amplifier. But we also get, what do we get? We get a little owner's manual, and we get a little Marshall, what's that? Probably a warranty description. Yeah, sort of things about every country, what happens if it goes wrong, or ways that you shouldn't use these amplifiers. Okay, so honestly already I have a soft spot for this amp. I used to own one and I gave it away to a friend. Hello, Benji. I do like that amp. I can't remember if it actually sounded any good. My feeling is that probably not. Let's have a look in the box for the Fender. Right, Fender Mini Tone Master. What surprises do you have in store? Oh, got a card there. So there's the amp. That's quite a bit bigger than the Marshall. We'll do a size comparison in a little bit. We've got a specs card. So we've got all the things that I need to know to compare them. We'll take a look at that in a bit. And that's it. I've got to say, I think that looks super cool as well. That's part of the reasons I chose these three amps. I think they're the coolest looking ones. But that, oh, I like it. Right, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's unbox the Honeytone. The Honeytone. Mini amp goes anywhere, clips on strap or belt. So this one is slightly different because it's a clip-on amp, whereas the other ones are freestanding. So, little baggie, and oh, that's freestanding as well. Okay, so you can stand this up and you can clip it on your belt. Hang on a minute. You can also clip the Marshall on your belt. You can't clip the Fender on your belt, as far as I can see. Maybe we can do something with this. Right, the Honeytone, you get the amp. You get the owner's manual, and you get a warranty card. Now, the one thing about this Honeytone amp is that I thought it was a Danelectro, but I'm not seeing Danelectro anywhere on this paperwork. That doesn't mean that it isn't owned and produced by Danelectro, but I thought it was. That's a particularly Danelectro-looking product. It says John Hornby Skews. All right, okay, JHS. Is that anything to do with Danelectro? Let me know in the comments section. This has a suggested tone settings. Look at that. So mini amp instructions also comes with some suggested tones. Woodstock fuzz. Right, that's exciting. Okay, first impressions, I think they all look great. I don't think there's a bad looking amp here, and that's partially my fault or credit to me because I chose the three best looking ones. I think the ones that are going to grab your eye at a music store. So they all run off 9 volts. This one comes with a battery compartment on the back. It comes with, that's a Danelectro battery. Right, there, kind of a mystery solved. This is a Danelectro product, or has been at some point, because it comes with a Danelectro battery. So, 9-volt battery or 9-volt DC. Clip-on belt thingy-bob, which is metal and quite sturdy. We've also got a headphone socket on the left-hand side. Then on top, we've got off or volume, a little nice click. We've got tone, and we've got overdrive, and the input socket. So yeah, that's the Honeytone. The Marshall MS2 has a battery compartment on the back. Does it come with a battery? No. So you have to buy a battery in addition to purchasing the amp. We got some sort of porting on the back. Just, I don't know if that's to look like it's, heat grills for the amp, or is actually needed for air to come in and out of the amp. We've got 9-volt in just there, so you can power it from a power supply that would power your pedals. Headphone out, but it's a big one, so 1/4 inch is that, so 6.3 millimeters. Guitar in. We've got volume. We've got tone, and we've got off, on, or OD. Right, let's put that down for a second, take a look at the Fender ToneMaster. That is considerably bigger, firstly. Right, we've got a rattle. There's something rattling inside. I'll have to investigate that. Could be a cable. We've got a little battery compartment with a battery, a Fender branded battery. Whatever's rattling is not supposed to rattle, I don't think. Oh dear. Then pop that back in there. First thing I notice is this little stand, so we can stand it up. That's very cool. That's very authentically Fender. I like that very much. That's very cool. I can see that looking. Is it really practical? I don't know. We'll find out. But it is cool. Right, flipping it over, we've got also 9 volts in here and a headphone out, a mini headphone. We've got inputs, and this is the first amp with 4 knobs on. We've got an actual gain control, a volume, a tone, and power on. God, that's rather stiff. My goodness. That is not easy to turn on. Okay, so first impression. Oh, it is loosening up. But first impressions, wow, that's hard to turn on. Is that one? No, that's super simple. And the Marshall, really easy. That Fender, you could rip a finger off with that. The rest of the knobs are nice and sturdy, but not kind of any finger ripping going on there, though. This is the Fender that has 2 3-inch speakers rated at 1 watt each. And the thing that was rattling around inside has come out somewhere. There it is. It's a piece of hot glue. So this hot glue should be holding in that speaker down there, and it isn't. It's not the end of the world, but not great. Inside the Honeytone, we've got 1 3-inch speaker, but this one's rated at 2 watts, which may be why Honeytone is saying that this is louder than most mini amps. Finally, the Marshall also has a 3-inch speaker rated at 1 watt. So it could really be the case that the Honeytone Danelectro is the loudest of the 3. Is it true? Let's find out. Let's have some sounds. Right, let's grab a guitar. I'm going to use the Schecter Nick Johnston signature traditional one, which is about €1,000, which is much more expensive than these amps, but it stays in tune and it sounds good, so we get a good representation of what these amps might sound like. Now, recording setup, I've got a camera here on this amp, hello, and a Zoom H6, which is a portable recorder with inbuilt mics facing the amp. Because if I was to close mic it like you would a normal cab, that no one's ever going to put these amps to their ear, I would hope. Or, say no one. General use is not to put these amps next to your ear, and so therefore close miking it would be a bit silly. We've got the Fender Mini ToneMaster. Let's put everything at 12, turn it on, and see what this sounds like on the neck position. It is vibrating. Hang on. It's overdriven to heck, so let's see if I can clean that up by pushing the volume up and the gain down. Ah! Let's go humbucker. That sounds like an amazing fuzz, and close mic, that could actually be really cool. However, it sounds rubbish, but in a good way. So, hang on now. As an amplifier, to make a guitar louder, to have something that you enjoy, absolute trash. As a fuzz pedally sound that you could close mic and get some nastiness out of it, pretty good. But if you're looking for a nice sounding little mini amp, this is not it. So let's try the Marshall. That was laughably bad. Where's the volume? There is no volume there at all. Let's push the volume. That just sounds hollow and bad. Let's try the tone. More tone, please. But there's no volume whatsoever. Let's try the overdrive channel. That's kind of passable in a terrible way. For chords, it sounds awful. It doesn't even fuzz up in the way that the Fender did. So I kind of liked that awful sound from the Fender, but the Marshall just sounds like bees in a jam jar. That is a classic awful sound. Can the honeytone save the day for mini amps? That feels bigger already. I don't know if you can see, but the red light is fluttering. What am I touching? That's volume, tone, overdrive. Let's turn the overdrive down and the volume up. So that's volume. That's overdrive at 0. All right, I'm going to try one of their suggested tones. I'm going to suggest try clean and spanky. That's not clean and spanky. It just isn't good. There's no world where that's a good sound. It does feel louder. Let's max everything and see what that sounds like. As a fuzz lover, that's brilliant. Yeah, that has its limitations. Let's try another setting. There, Woodstock fuzz. Oh dear, that was interesting. It would be very easy now for me to say that these are awful, terrible little things and you shouldn't buy them. And that's exactly what I am going to say. These are awful, terrible little things and you should not buy them. And I very rarely say something like that on my channel. These things contribute to why people give up guitar. If I was a parent of someone that owned one of these, that would be an annoying sound. It's just too cheap. I'll give in, they look cool. I think that looks amazing. I think that looks fun. I think that has a place. I think it looks cool, but it's not for me. I used to have one of these, in fact, in mint green. I think it was smaller, though, or I was bigger. But yeah, these are terrible sounding, terrible, terrible things. Do not buy them. I will put a caveat in there, in that I think the fuzz tone coming out of that is kind of fun, or really fun. Like if you close mic that and you wanted this nasty, horrible, nasally fuzz sound, get one of those and mic it up close. Maybe the same with this, less so with this one. However, if you have your mind set upon getting a mini amp, get one that at the very least has rubber feet or a low center of gravity or is a little weighty so it doesn't fall over. Because if you're picking your little amp up all the time, you're not playing guitar. Your hands have to be on the instrument to play it. You're going to pick the one that looks the coolest. If you want one of these and my video has not deterred you, be aware that they sound as bad as they sound. And I've looked at the video and listened to the video. What I recorded is an accurate representation of what was in the room. It is not my miking technique or bad mics or anything like that. That's what it really sounded like. Okay, you've reached the end of the video club, and to prove that you have made it this far in the video, when you leave a comment down below telling me which one was your favourite out of these three, or which amp you would recommend instead of one of these three. So please let me know in the comments any mini amps you've played that you think are great. And when you leave that comment, please also include the phrase, "There's no such thing as bad tone." but, and then complete the rest of the sentence. Then we'll know that you've watched this part, and there should be some amazing, interesting answers which will help out other viewers of this video. So if you're watching the video and haven't looked at the comments section yet, go and have a look at the comments section. There will be other wise guitar geeks in there advising you. There will also be some unwise, so, you know, please filter out the wheat from the chaff, or the mini amps from the real amps. There are more videos over there with me being generally geeky or offering even more buying advice. And if you want that follow-up to this mini amp thing where I get some that actually sound good, don't forget to click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you are notified. I will see you very soon. Bye-bye!